thank you very much for asking me to join you today. It's a real privilege to be here, and it's wonderful to share a platform with members of your government who are so enthusiastic about education and in particular about STEM. Ken tells us that the world is changing, that the pupils and students that we produce face a world that we don't recognize. We're preparing them for a world of change where many of them will have jobs that don't currently exist. Ken is at the end of launching students into their careers. Our part, I work in a school, is preparing our pupils, it seems to me, to fit in with Ken, and Ken is preparing them to join the world. Sadly, not all pupils can go to Ken's university and get a first-class degree, and so it's absolutely right that we develop programs that suit each individual pupil so that they can achieve the greatest that they can, and vocational training is very much part of that. We've embarked on a STEM project where I am. We were fortunate enough to need some additional classroom space. And I was pondering where to put these extra classrooms. Now, later on, I'm going to just show you a couple of photographs of the school where I'm involved, and it's very spread out. And so our physics, chemistry, biology, maths, design technology, and information technology are spread out across the school. In life, sometimes several things come together and they just spark an idea. I remember going to a conference and someone was talking about STEM, and this was a new concept to me. This was a few years ago. And by coincidence, my oldest son is just starting a master's program at university in chemistry. So when he started his undergraduate program, if this represents the width of the curriculum, second year, third year, masters. I can't even understand what he's doing this next year. It's completely beyond me. And he wants to go and do a PhD, so I've got no chance. It's often said that it would take at least a cross-disciplinary team of 10 people to come up with Einstein's sort of new thought. He could do it in his time because the total stock of knowledge of the world and the environment in which we lived was so much smaller. Interdisciplinary teams are bound to be with us because as we understand more and more about the world we live in, so each person specializes more and more. So what are we doing? Well, so we needed some new classrooms. So I invited the head of our sciences, the three disciplines, he's head of science, the head of information technology as taught as an academic subject, and interestingly, they do robotics, programming of robotics, the head of design technology, and interestingly, they design robotics or robots. Okay, so you can see synergy straight away. The head of maths, to come to my office, I said to them, listen guys, if I can facilitate you all coming together geographically, would this be of interest to you? And I'd done a few sketches and said, well look, this is the sort of building I'm thinking of. It's an addition to an existing building, so it's not massively expensive. And you know, it's one of those really beautiful moments in education. Within 2 minutes of introducing this as a concept, it was as if I wasn't in the room. It was great. The head of maths was saying to the head of physics, having you next to me would be fantastic. When we're doing this bit of the curriculum, you can come and help us out. And as I've already said about the robotics, the head of information technology and the head of design technology said, well, we can make the programs that fit your things that you're making. How powerful is that? And so that's what we've set about doing. Okay? So what was my role? Facilitator. What is the cost? Well, it's new classrooms, but we were doing those anyway, and they're just standard classrooms. Haileybury has half a toe in some schools in Africa. Our pupils go out there occasionally to help out. And one of them came back and said, This is the most extraordinary experience. I've been talking to people who can carry, some of them in one hand, some of them in two hands, their entire worldly possessions. I face moving a house. Head office, my dear wife, seems to be employing FedEx to move us that will take weeks of planning. It is ridiculous. But these people in Africa do not have all this wonderful equipment, but their thirst for knowledge is enormous. And that's what we have to do, is to instill in our pupils and in our colleagues who teach them that thirst for knowledge. So it does not necessarily take huge sums. We all work in an industry where resources are extremely limited. But if you can bring people together, the soft skills, it is extraordinary what you can achieve. Thank you.